My name is Mark Ryan Dharmaraj. I joined WWF Malaysia in 2004 because I believe in the mission to save our biodiversity, especially our tigers. The tiger is the most majestic animal in our forest. It is the king of the jungle. They are apex predators. They regulate their prey like the samba deer, which in turn controls the vegetation. Their connection to the food web is essential. And when tigers thrive, so do our forests. We need tigers more than we think we do. Globally, tiger numbers have plummeted. There are fewer than 4,000 tigers in the wild, occupying less than 7% of their historical range. An international pledge was made at St. Petersburg in 2010 at the Global Tiger Summit to double the number of tigers. Malaysia was then a signatory. 2 years prior, Malaysia had already pledged to double tiger numbers when we launched the National Tiger Conservation Action Plan. With 80 actions, the aim was to go from 500 to 1,000 tigers in our jungles by 2020. But unfortunately, instead of doubling tiger numbers, Malaysia has halved the numbers with only 250 left in the wild. The Malayan tiger is now critically endangered under IUCN's Red List. And that basically paints a bleak scenario for our Malayan tigers. But other countries around the world have been successful in protecting their tigers. In India and Nepal, tiger numbers are increasing. These countries have bigger problems than Malaysia. Their forests are more fragmented, the human population is bigger, and they have major poverty issues. But it is their leaders and their governments that have the will to protect tigers as part of their ecosystem. They ensure there are enough rangers and patrollers, keeping out the poachers. Currently, the main threat for tigers is basically poaching. All around the world, tigers are in high demand for traditional Chinese medicine. Their skin, their teeth, their penis, even their whiskers are used as acupuncture needles. Their black market value is higher than any other species. Malaysia's jungles are now inundated with poachers, not only from local villages, but mainly from outside the country, from Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. We are allowing foreigners to come to our country to plunder our national heritage. Thousands of snares are being set in our forests, and it's just a matter of time before they wipe out our tigers and other species too. The Tiger Conservation Action Plan, it has not been implemented holistically. Resources have not been efficiently mobilized, and sufficient funding has not been allocated for the action plan. If there are no people or no money, we cannot achieve our main goal of doubling tiger numbers, let alone saving them. WWF Malaysia committedly supports the government in their efforts to save tigers in the Belum Temenggong Forest Complex. And we have our own tiger conservation program with several threat reduction elements. We have an anti-poaching patrol team to help the authorities to reduce poaching problems. We currently only have 3 teams, but we hope to increase this number in the near future. We have a monitoring team that is helping to unravel how many tigers there are in the area. We also have people working on the ground, engaging the local communities, basically to get the Orang Aslis to be the eyes and the ears for the authorities to reduce poaching. In addition, we also monitor the land use in and around the area as well as try to advocate for better management practices within protected areas and sustainable timber production forests. WWF also organizes high-level conferences and dialogues to garner support from all stakeholders that have a role to play to save tigers. In 2017, the Royal Bloom Declaration was established in the presence of His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, President of WWF UK, and His Royal Highness Sultan Nazrin Shah, the patron of WWF Malaysia, to save tigers by increasing patrols in Belum and to achieve zero poaching in the state by 2020. Royal Belum State Park is also committed to save tigers by registering for Conservation Assured Tiger Standards, or better known as CATS. This is essentially a set of minimum standards to guide effective management of an area for tiger conservation. Royal Belum State Park is the first site, not only in Malaysia, but also Southeast Asia, that has registered. Our tigers are a shared resource. Never has the plight to save them been so urgent. It's now or never. Tiger conservation needs to be a national priority, and all parties need to play a role. The federal government, state governments, the Department of Wildlife and National Parks, Forestry Department, and even the police and the army, just to name a few. Without everyone on board together, and if we don't step up, we will lose our tigers. Do we want to be known by our children and our grandchildren to be the generation that lost the Malayan tiger under our watch?
My name is Christopher Wong. I've been with WWF Malaysia for almost 10 years now. So since I was much younger, I love the wild and I love animals. Malayan tiger is one of the smallest subspecies of tiger, which can only be found in Malay Peninsula. It is solitary and territorial, except only when it's mating and when it's bearing offsprings. Belum Temenggor landscape is known to be one of the highest density of tigers in the country. So it's thought to be about 130 million years old, one of the oldest landscape in the world. Surveying Belum Temenggor Forest Complex is WWF Malaysia's current project. The purpose of this survey is to re-establish the tiger population in both areas which were studied back in 2009 to 2011. And the data that we obtained will be contributed towards the first National Tiger Survey of Peninsular Malaysia. Because of the dense vegetation in our rainforests, which the visibility is just so low, it's so difficult to see a tiger. Over 10 years that I've worked in the forest, I've never seen a tiger. We use camera trap technology to help us in our work, to photograph the tigers, to study them. My team consists of 6 people, and we averagely spend around 1 to 2 weeks in the forest, traveling as far as a few tens of kilometers every single trip. Some of the challenges we need to go through in the field are like crossing deep rivers, climbing up steep mountains, and also we still have to deal with the mosquitoes and the leeches in the forest that constantly draw our blood. To increase the chances of possibility of capturing tigers in the forest, location needs to be chosen with care. So signs like perk marks are used to guide us in setting up the camera traps. Camera trap is a device where it is built with a motion and heat sensor. So when an animal like a tiger passes by in front of the camera trap in the detection zone, it will self-activate to capture a photo of the animal. In every single location, 2 camera traps will be set up on each side of the trail to photograph both flanks of the tigers. Over the years surveying Belum Temenggong Forest Complex, we collected more than 40,000 photographs of wild animals. They include large mammals like elephants, sun bear, Malayan tapir, and there are also animals which are smaller in sizes but equally interesting. Out of the 40,000 photographs of wild animals, it's only about 3 to 4% of them are of the tigers. Once in the office, this is when the work on identifying the tiger starts. So the photographs are used to differentiate the tigers from their stripes. Just like our fingerprints, every stripes of the tigers are different. So this is how we can tell if we have captured the same animal at 2 different times. Back in the 1950s, we had 3,000 wild tigers, and then it comes down to 500 in early 2000. In 2014, it was estimated to be around 250 to 340. Because of the numbers, Malayan tigers are classified as critically endangered. Currently, the National Tiger Survey is ongoing, which will give a better estimation of the status of tigers in the country. But if the trend still persists, we might not even see a wild tiger anymore. We can't give up hope just yet. Cubs are still being photographed. There are still a lot of females in the forest as well. So they can still repopulate and increase the number of tigers in the forest. There's still a lot of things that can be done, but it has to be now.
My name is Sharif Muhammad, and I've been working with WWF Malaysia since 2006. I started off as a field biologist, but I currently lead the anti-poaching unit in WWF Malaysia. Two biggest threats to tigers at the moment are habitat loss and poaching. Poaching is the most immediate threat to tigers, and it is actually one of the largest illegal trades after firearms and drugs. WWF Malaysia has 3 patrol teams on the ground. The main objective of our anti-poaching unit is to act as the eyes and ears for the enforcement agencies to take action. Finding poachers is pretty much like looking for a needle in a haystack, although we do get better at it after becoming more familiar with the landscape and knowing more about the poaching routes and hotspots. Within Belum Temenggong, there's just one highway which cuts across it. A lot of the access points used by poachers are actually along this highway. We've discovered about 100 access points used by these poachers. It's a combination of trails which they've established over the years, as well as old logging roads. So these access points are used by poachers to venture into the deeper parts of the jungle. The modus operandi of many poachers is to set a series of snares in one place and move from one place to another. So a snare is basically a long piece of cable or rope with the trigger mechanism. So one end of this is tied onto a tree and the other one is made into a loop and set along an animal path. So basically, whichever animal that steps on it to trigger the mechanism, it will get caught in the snare. Some years ago, our anti-poaching team actually came across a snared tiger. So this was immediately reported to the enforcement agencies, which is the Department of Wildlife and National Parks, who rushed down to the scene to try and save the tiger. So I witnessed the whole operation from the time they tranquilized the tiger to bring it out on a stretcher and also treating the tiger on the spot for its snare wound. It was probably snared only for a day or two. However, by that time, the struggle caused the wound to be quite deep already. The more the animal struggles, the tighter the noose will become. So you can imagine the pain the tiger was in, yeah? Unfortunately, the tiger died a couple of weeks later in captivity. The trend is alarming. From 2016 to 2017 alone, our team has found close to 250 snares across the huge Belum Temenggong landscape. Because snares are easy and cheap to set up, these snares are actually widely used by foreign poachers, especially from countries such as Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. When our team comes across a snare, they will deactivate it and remove it. Over the long run, these snares can actually empty the forest of large mammals. The anti-poaching unit is also on the lookout for other signs of poachers. If our team detects a campsite from afar, then we will attempt to stealthily get closer in order to establish if there are people in the campsite. If we confirm that no one is at the campsite, we will slowly approach and inspect the site. Through this, we can tell how many people are camping there, what sort of illegal activities they are doing, and sometimes even establish what nationality these people are. If the campsite is still active, we will mark the position on our GPS and immediately call the enforcement agencies so that they can come and take action. Unfortunately, over the past 4 years, dozens of foreign poacher camps have been found in Belum Temenggong. Royal Belum State Park comes under the jurisdiction of Perak State Parks Corporation, and Temenggong Forest Reserve is under the Perak State Forestry Department. The main issue here is staffing. There are not enough law enforcement personnel and rangers to patrol the forest. In Royal Belum State Park, there are only 3 teams patrolling the area, which is probably only 10% of what we really need. The tiger is the most majestic animal in the jungle, and in a way it's like the guardian of the forest. Poaching is the most immediate threat towards the survival of wild tigers. Regular, dedicated, and systematic patrols are needed to curb poaching. This presence in our jungle is needed now to save the Malayan tiger from extinction.
name is Umi Azurah binti Abdul Rahman. I am a Senior Community Engagement and Education Officer for WWF Malaysia's Tiger Conservation Program. From a young age, I have been interested in people, to know more about people, to engage with people. I'm really a people's person. I love helping people. I am currently working with local indigenous people or orang asli in Belum Temenggong Forest Complex. This area has been identified as one of Malaysia's tiger priority landscapes. We have been working with the local orang asli community in Belum Temenggong since 2009. We run programs to increase awareness and encourage support of tiger conservation in 19 villages in the area. The orang asli are very knowledgeable about the environment. Their way of life depends on the forest. This knowledge is passed down from generation to generation. They respect the forest, the rivers, and the wildlife. The orang asli have great respect for tigers. They believe they can live in harmony and coexist with tigers and with nature. WWF Malaysia cannot work alone. It is important to collaborate with the local and orang asli communities to create a balance between people and nature. We need this local support for our efforts to be really effective in tiger conservation. Kampung Semelo is very unique. They were the first to take the initiative to form their own community-based monitoring group. They are quite concerned about poaching and encroachment in the area. They want to play a more active role, take initiatives, and take actions on their own. Recently, they found an abandoned camp, and they also discovered a bullet case, evidence of poachers. We shared this useful data with the rest of the tiger team at WWF and the authorities. We work with them, helping with capacity building, showing them new skills such as how to use a GPS, read maps, and basic first aid. We have monthly meetings with them where they share with us their findings. We also guide them to be more organized in data collection and management, and we see improvements all the time. I feel the community's presence in the forest act as a deterrent for illegal activities. Outsiders, poachers, will think twice before they enter the area. The orang asli can be the first line of defense for tigers and wildlife. The villagers of Kampung Semelo can also use ecotourism as a means of getting an income. With their great knowledge of the forest, they have excellent skills as nature guides. Selling traditional handicraft can also help support their village. WWF assists in connecting them to potential buyers when possible. Community engagement is interesting. You meet all kinds of people, different personalities, different characteristics. I hope to see the Malayan tiger still in existence in our forests for a very, very long time. I would also like to see that the communities living within the tiger landscape can improve their livelihood while coexisting with nature. WWF is already working with the local stakeholders that are committed to saving tigers. But it is important to get more communities involved to protect Malaysia's most iconic animal.
Saya Luqman Hakim bin Hamzah, wakil belia dalam menyelamatkan harimau Malaya. Bagi saya, harimau ialah tanda keyakinan dan kekuatan. Kita tahu harimau itu sendiri ialah Raja Rimba, dan saya mendapatkan inspirasi keyakinan diri saya daripada harimau ini. Harimau Malaya simbol negara kita, menunjukkan kita berani untuk pertahankan kedaulatan negara kita. Bagi saya, harimau Malaya sekarang diancam kepupusan. Daripada 3,000, macam mana boleh jadi 300 saja? Pemburuan haram ialah punca yang utama. Dan lebih teruk lagi, harimau Malaya tidak mampu untuk melawan kerana kelicikan pemburu haram memasang perangkap yang menjerat mereka. Kepupusnya harimau Malaya menunjukkan kemusnahan identiti dan maruah negara kita. Pendidikan awal terhadap konservasi harimau sangat penting. 3 kata kunci saya berikan untuk memudahkan kita para belia untuk mengetahui peranan kita. Yang pertama, sebar. Sebar kita boleh menyebarkan maklumat dan isu semasa mengenai harimau Malaya menerusi media sosial kita. Yang kedua ialah sertai. Belia patut sertai mana-mana aktiviti dan juga program yang dianjurkan oleh mana-mana organisasi yang terlibat dalam pemuliharaan harimau. Kenapa? Dalam mereka menyaksanakan program ini, mereka dapat penghayatan terhadap peri pentingnya selamatkan harimau Malaya. Yang ketiga ialah suara. Suara adalah satu usaha para belia untuk menyatakan pandangan mereka dan memberi cadangan kepada kerajaan. Kenapa? Apabila kerajaan menyokong usaha memelihara harimau ini, jadi semua usaha ini berjalan lancar dan lebih mudah. Sekarang, keadaan harimau Malaya sangat-sangat membimbangkan. Harapan saya untuk harimau Malaya pada masa akan datang. Yang pertama, saya nak pastikan supaya tak ada pun aktiviti pemburuan haram yang dilakukan tanpa mendapat tindakan undang-undang. Yang kedua, saya nak pastikan semua rakyat Malaysia tahu dan sedar betapa pentingnya untuk kita selamatkan harimau Malaya. Dan yang ketiga, saya berharap supaya usaha untuk kita gandakan bilangan harimau Malaya di Malaysia dapat dicapai pada masa akan datang. Kalau kita semua, belia, orang dewasa, tak kenal usia, tak kenal taraf sosial, kita bekerjasama dan berganding bahu, saya yakin usaha ini dapat dilaksanakan. Saya menyeru semua belia untuk sertai saya dalam usaha kita selamatkan harimau Malaya. Kita tahu peranan kita dan laksanakannya. Mari kita kembalikan ngauman harimau yang lemah kepada ngauman harimau yang berani dan semangat. Daripada roar kepada roar.
Maybank, as it was known then, Malayan Banking Berhad, was incorporated in 1960 by 2 private individuals, and from the very start they had chosen the tiger to be the logo of the bank. And the idea then was that the tiger represents courage and strength. Maybank as a group has always supported the cause of tiger conservation, principally because it does represent Maybank in terms of its brand, but also because it represents the country. It is present on our crest, the Jatan Negara. So this is very important for Maybank because we feel that if we don't do it, then who else? So we've always taken the larger role in terms of tiger protection and conservation, not just because it represents Maybank, but it represents the country, and we take on that role. We started our efforts in tiger conservation in a big way in 2009 when we first partnered MyCat to contribute 1 million ringgit towards tiger conservation. And we went on in a much bigger way when we partnered WWF Malaysia for a 4-year tiger conservation program in the Royal Belum Temenggong Forest Complex. That program started in 2016 as the first year, and it involves an investment of 5.2 million ringgit by Maybank Foundation with clear deliverables and clear project outcomes over a 4-year time frame. Our collaboration with WWF Malaysia is premised on 3 areas. Firstly, it's about protection. Secondly, it's about monitoring. And thirdly, it's community engagement. A big element of our program with WWF Malaysia is actually outreach, going out to the public from the Orang Asli communities, out to the schools, and even beyond that. So we come up with various activities. For example, we celebrate Global Tiger Day now in a big scale. There's a lot of educational aspect to it in terms of tiger conservation. We need a lot more people to fight, to be evangelists for tiger preservation. The task of conserving and protecting tigers nationally is a huge task that is beyond Maybank on its own. There's a lot more room for other corporates, other parties will come in and contribute to the other areas that require this kind of assistance. There is hope for the tiger in the future. Protecting and the conservation of tigers is all of our responsibility as Malaysians because that represents the pride of the nation. We want to make sure that we leave behind is a world that we are able to enjoy right now, that our children and grandchildren will also be able to enjoy in the future.